Hello! What is up? How are y'all doing today? It's your man Julian, aka the Cozy Representative. I'm back. Different kind of video today. In fact, brand new style of video. Never done before on this channel. I've kind of talked about this a little bit. If you follow me on Instagram or look at my little updates on the YouTube like community page or whatever, I've kind of been talking about this. I'm gonna be doing a new series on this channel. What you're watching right now is episode number 1 of Cozy Talk, which is my new. It's kind of gonna be a side thing. It's not gonna be. It's pretty much what I think of this as is like the complete polar opposite of what my usual videos are. You know, my usual videos, they are scripted. There's a script that I write. There's all this research that I do. And a lot of time and energy goes into it. And, even when I film myself, a lot of time and energy goes into that because I want to make sure that I'm sort of conveying whatever story or whatever it is that I'm talking about. I want to make sure that I'm like conveying it well, so I like reshoot a lot of things and edit it a lot, and in turn those videos, as you know, if you've been subscribed to my channel for a little bit, they often take a little while for me to make and put together. There are often setbacks that I have. They're often delayed for various reasons, because there is a lot of work that gets put into them. I don't just, turn on my camera and bleh, and it just comes out. It's not, there's a lot more that goes into it than just that. Siren going by. But I guess, in the past couple months, now that there's more people watching my channel, there's more interest in what goes on this channel and whatnot. I've been wanting a way to sort of be able to upload more content, more videos, more frequently, that aren't my normal, super big, grandiose, like, documentary-style videos or whatever. Like, I wanted something else to do that was a little bit more casual, a little bit more laid back, a little bit easier for me to put together, so that instead of these big long waits, long wait periods between videos, I can kind of just upload whatever, whenever I want. And I kind of tried to do something like that. Originally my idea for that was going to be album reviews. I'm going to do album reviews, and that'll be kind of a way I can kind of bang those out quicker. And I did one of the newest all-time low album, Wake Up Sunshine, and I liked making that video. It was cool, but after I made it, I kind of was like, I don't know if like this is the thing that I want to do on the side. You know what I mean? I don't know if I really want to be like an album review guy. I just feel like there's enough of that on YouTube. Like there's enough people reviewing albums on here. I feel like the videos that I make already, I feel like I kind of have my own thing, and I kind of would rather be just like known for that or whatever. So I was, and also in the videos that I do make about bands, like I kind of review the albums anyway in those videos, so it's not, I kind of felt like, I was like, I don't really see the point in doing like album reviews also. So I kind of like 86 that idea. And then recently, I've been watching, so the band Taking Back Sunday on their YouTube channel, they've been doing this thing in the past, like, month or two, called Talking Back Sunday. I know, very clever. Where it's basically just them, like, they do, like, a Zoom call, from all their different respective locations, and once a week they just get on there with each other and just basically just shoot the shit and just kind of talk, and it's really laid back, and it's like unedited, unscripted. It's really cool, and it's kind of been, I've been like loving that so much. Maybe it's just because I love them as people. I love hearing what they have to say and listening to them talk, but I really love watching it, and I was watching it the other week, and it like really inspired me. I was like, I want to do something like this. How about I do something like this on my channel where it's literally just like its own separate series, and it's really laid back, and it's really it's kind of just me talking about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. You know, I don't think I'm gonna do it like once a week. I'm just gonna do it kind of just like whenever the fuck I want. But it'll just be kind of like a little almost like a little video podcast where it's you know, just kind of unedited, unscripted, off the cuff, unhinged. Each episode will have its own topic. You know, whether it be, I don't really know what it's gonna be yet, honestly. It'll be like stuff relating to music and the music scene, but also not. Also, maybe I'll just talk about stuff that goes on in my life or my past life, or past life, not as in like I'm reincarnated from the past. I just mean like things that I've been through. Maybe some stuff about like the world. There's a lot of things going on in the world, and a lot of, but I'm not super into like politics or anything, so it won't be anything like that. But I might have guests on here. I don't really know what that's gonna mean yet, but it's kind of just whatever it's just gonna be open to whatever the fuck I want to do, like whenever the fuck I want to do it. And it'll be a way, I wanted a way to connect with people, with all of you lovely people who watch my channel, in a way that's, less, I can just be natural on camera. You know what I mean? How I am in my videos is not, necessarily, like, it's like a part of me, but it's not, I'm literally reading a script and kind of, hamming it up a little bit for the camera, obviously, so I kind of just wanted a way that's just more relaxed, and you get the idea, see, like, I've been rambling about this for 7 minutes, but I don't give a fuck, because that's, like, the point of these videos. It's not, think of this like a video podcast, I guess. So anyway, yeah, this is Cozy Talk, welcome. I don't have a theme song, or, I was actually thinking about that. I was like, I am such, like, as far as, like, YouTubers go, or like what you should do as a YouTuber, quote unquote, I'm like so unprofessional. Like, if I like knew what I was doing, or was more professional than I was, I would have came up with, first of all, like a logo, maybe. I don't have a fucking logo. I don't know what I'm gonna do for that. Whatever you see on the thumbnail is probably thought of after the fact, maybe a little bit half-assed, and I probably should have thought of, like, oh, I should have some sort of theme music or whatever, but maybe someday in the future, I don't know. But anyway, that's not the point, though. See, I'm not about that flashy shit. I like just real, raw, natural shit, and that's what I'm trying to bring you. So this is Cozy Talk Part 1. I'm doing it differently. Usually I can see myself when I talk, but you are over here, my webcam is here, and my laptop is over here. I'm going to be reading questions off of this. I have a bunch of questions. Oh, did I mention that? It's a Q&A. I don't know if I even said that. I'm a little nervous. This is kind of freaky. I've never done this before. Well, I've made videos before, obviously, but I've never, never done this kind of video. So yeah, this is episode 1. This is going to be a Q&A, question and answer. I asked for your questions on Instagram, and I asked on the YouTube community thing. I got, like, a shit ton of questions, and I'm basically going to try to answer as many as I, like, possibly can, without this being, like, the longest, like, just most long-winded whatever video ever. But I'm basically going to be, like, interviewing myself for however long this is going to be via questions that you have asked me on the internet. So first, I'm going to go through the questions that I got on Instagram. It's pretty much like 80 or 90% of the questions. I'm going to answer them, and then after that, I'm going to go through the ones that I got on YouTube, and it's going to be a great time. I mean, maybe if you're into this sort of thing, if you're into this channel, if you find any interest in me as a human being, I guess this will be interesting. But if not, it's so weird to, like, make shit like this, because there's, like, people who say that they're into, that they want to, they're like into this, but it's weird for me, because I'm like, oh, I don't know why anyone would possibly care about, like what I have to fucking say or about anything. And that's the weird thing about having like a YouTube channel and having people who like I can't imagine, like I can't fathom why, like this video that I'm doing right now, I can't imagine why anybody would watch it. And that's why this series is weird. You know, because my channel in general, it's not really, you know, it's me talking about, like, other things that I like. I'm not one of those YouTubers where it's, like, it's vlogs and I'm telling you about my life. Like, I keep my personal life pretty far removed from, you know, like, a lot of people don't really know much about me. And that's kind of how I kind of like that, but, like I said, these videos are for, I don't know, getting into this is for like if you're really into this shit, if you really want to know the truth, the juice about this guy. But this is just a Q&A video, so that's what this is. That's not what this is going to be always. Anyway, okay, yeah, I'm just going off like a crazy person right now. Let's get to the questions. Let's do this. Let's rock and roll, as middle-aged white dads say as they're leaving restaurants. You feel me? You feel me. Alright, I have my notepad open. The bunch of different questions. These are pretty much in, like, no particular order. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and start answering them. So, one thing that... Okay, the first question that I wanted to get to, and I got this question asked a few different times, and I thought it was a good question and something that I, you know, definitely have a lot of thoughts about. What, like, motivated me to start making YouTube videos? You know, some people said things along the lines of, like, oh, I've wanted to start making my own YouTube videos for a really long time, but I've just never, you know, I've just never done it or whatever. Like, so what inspired me to start making my videos? And, you know, I don't know how to answer this question without, like, sounding really cliche or, like, you know, or, like, really corny. But, first of all, I do want to say, well, I guess, okay, apart from the corny things that I'm gonna say, I do want to throw it out there that when I started my channel and started making videos, I didn't, like, make my first video and start making videos with the intention of, like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, you know what I mean? Or, like, I'm gonna try really hard to, like, gain a fan base, and I want to do this, like, this is my dream. Like, that was not at all, like, I didn't think, you know, I feel like people say that, and, like, it's, you know, for me, for this, that's, like, really, honestly, 100% true. I had no concept that this was going to become, like, the thing that I devote all my time towards, and that it was going to, you know, reach any amount of success at all. Like, the amount of subscribers that I have right now, I had no concept or no thought that it was ever going to get to this point at all. Like, and it wasn't really my goal either. At the beginning, it was just something that I kind of did just as a fun little side thing, you know, just to kind of, like, make my just as, like, something fun to keep me busy. I think I was unemployed at the time. I was, like, between jobs, and it was, like, the winter, and I just kind of had a lot of time on my hands, and I just wanted, I was playing in bands for many years before that, which is something, that's another question which I will also get into, but I was playing in bands for, like, a really long time, and basically that, like, just wasn't really working out anymore. I wasn't really, super fulfilled by, like, playing music, anymore after doing it for, like, years and years and years, and I kind of wanted a different creative outlet, or just something else to do that's, like, something that I've never done before. So I was like, I'm just gonna try making these YouTube videos. I was really inspired at the time by, like, it was, like, Finn McKenty, the Punk Rock MBA, and Nate the Mate were, like, two channels that I was like, I really like this. They talk about things that I like. And I just kind of felt like, I was like, I feel like I could kind of put my own spin on that. But it wasn't in any way, shape, or form like I was like, I'm going to try to you know, be a YouTuber or whatever. It was just kind of something just fun to do in my spare time and, like, show my friends, make my, you know, entertain my friends or whatever. Like, I don't know. I didn't take it very seriously. And I guess what motivated me to, because posting on YouTube, like making YouTube videos is it's a thing that I feel like a lot of people like kind of I don't know how to explain it, like almost make fun of. Like, people are kind of like judgmental about it. Like, they've like YouTube in a lot of like circles. Like, I used to play in a lot of sort of like DIY kind of indie rock like local bands, I guess, and like I think the concept of doing what I currently do was viewed as like very corny, or very like putting yourself out there in a way that's almost like, I don't know, just like corny. Like, it, like people kind of jab at it, and it's like weird. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I feel like everyone watches YouTube to some capacity and watches YouTubers, but it's a strange thing to start doing. And this is where my corny cliche answer is going to come in, because I think you really just literally gotta, and I'm sorry, like, I'm going to go totally after school special on you, but it's like, when I started taking it more seriously, like, for me personally, I literally just took all those fears of what people think about me, or how people perceive me, or if I look corny or not. I took all that shit and I was like, fuck that. Like, don't let those outside perceptions affect what you're doing. Because, like, I guess I just got to a point where I was like, fuck, this is something that I actually really want to do now. After I kind of started doing it for a bit, I was like, I like this. Some people are starting to show interest in this. Like, I at a certain point, I felt more fulfilled by doing this than I felt doing, like, music in the past. And I was just like, you know what? Fuck what anybody has to say about this, what anybody has to, like, I don't give a shit. I want to do something different, something unique. I don't know if this is making sense. This made sense in my head, but I don't know if when I say it out loud, if it. I guess the short answer is what motivated me is I found out that I liked doing it. I mean, well, it took many years for me to kind of be more comfortable with who I am as a person and the things that I really actually enjoy, like my real interests, like liking Warped Tour bands and scene bands and whatnot. Like I said, I used to play in a lot of like DIY sort of indie rock bands where like also like liking Warped Tour bands was viewed as corny, and I guess I was kind of fake for an amount of time. And I guess, like, at a certain point, I just was like, fuck, like, trying to appeal to, like, what you think other people want you to be. I know this is cliche and corny, but, like, fuck trying to, like, I used to literally, like, when I was younger, I would just listen to a certain band, because I literally just felt like, other people are going to think it's cool that I like this band, so I need to listen to that band. And over time, I was like, do I even like that band? No, I need to listen to shit that I fucking like and be unapologetic about that. And I kind of found that if you do that, you will find the people that like you for who you are, and in turn also like things that you like, and you won't have to be like, trying to. And that's all the thing that I think comes with getting older and getting more comfortable with yourself, and that kind of comes to, I know that this is all, like, this is totally, maybe I should, like, redo this, I don't know, but that's, like, literally how I came to, like, being motivated to post YouTube videos and do this, because I realized that I like doing this, and I basically, like, the moral of the story is, I was, like, I got to a point in my life where I was like, fuck what other people think about me, like, fuck what other people might think is corny or not, I'm going to do what I like to do and what fulfills me, and if other people see that as corny, they're not people that I'm going to want in my life, period. And I realized that I like making YouTube videos. I realized that to some circles of people that I might used to have been friends with, that might look really silly and uncool, but fuck it, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like and not to sound like a douchebag, but, like, the success of my channel lately is proof that, like, if you just fucking do what you want to do and try to just stuff those insecurities down and just fucking do it, just go with that instinct, you will, it will be a lot more fulfilling than you might even think it will be. You know what I mean? Whatever you have that's like seems like a silly idea, you know? Like, it's probably not as silly as you think it is. That was way too long of an answer. Anyway, yeah, so that's what motivated me to start posting on YouTube. See, this is why I don't do videos like this, because I tend to ramble. But I'm gonna keep going. Fuck it. This is Cozy Talk, man. We're getting down deep into the real nitty gritty of it. Okay, there's a lot of questions, so I'm gonna try to go a little quicker. Do I listen to music besides scene music? Yes. I have had many different phases of many different styles of music in the past. Obviously, as you can imagine, scene music is kind of like the one thing that, it's kind of like if the music that I listen to is like the universe, like the 2000s Warped Tour scene music is like the sun. Like that's what it always revolves around and what it always ends up going back to. But, you know, I've had phases of lots of different shit. I have, you know, as far as like stuff from the 60s, I really enjoyed. I had a really big like Beach Boys phase in high school, and what else did I listen to? I was into like the early Beatles at one point. I'm not really a super huge Beatles guy, but I liked like their early shit. I was really into Bob Dylan at one point. I guess I've listened to a lot of stuff from like the 80s over the years. I definitely, like, when I was younger, had a kind of early 80s like hardcore punk kind of phase, like the early, you know, Black Flag and the Descendants and Minor Threat and you know, all that good stuff. And then that kind of led to like the Minutemen and Husker Du, and I love the Replacements. The Replacements are one of my favorite bands of all time. You know, I like a lot of that's Dinosaur Jr. I'm probably forgetting some stuff. In my sort of late teens, I had a really big phase of sort of like 90s alternative rock. Archers of Loaf are like one of my favorite bands. Superchunk I like a lot. Stuff like that. Who else? Fuck, I'm drawing a blank. It's hard when you're like put on a spot when you're trying to... I'm like, fuck, what music do I even like? But yeah, a lot of that, like Archers of Loaf, Superchunk. What are other bands like that? You know what I'm talking about. Like 90s indie rock. I like Deftones a lot. I've loved Weezer, but that's probably wouldn't be surprising to people. Yeah, I like, you know, Madonna. I've listened to a lot of music throughout the years. I definitely... Some people, like, it's funny, you know, obviously by my videos, it's like I only talk about music from, like, the Warped Tour era, but to me, like, that's not the only music that I've ever listened to, so it's really funny. It almost kind of feels condescending in a way when people ask me, like, do you listen to any music besides, like, Warped Tour music? I'm like, yes, of course I do. Like, because to me, I'm like, yes, like, I fucking, you know what I mean? But to other people, like, people only know me from, like, my videos, and I have to remember that, because those people, like, they don't know, you know what I mean? Other people can't just, know things about you from the jump, you know, so to them it looks like I only listen to Warped Tour music, but I definitely primarily listen to Warped Tour music, so, you know, whatever. But I'm definitely like a music nerd as a whole, not just a Warped Tour nerd, but primarily a Warped Tour nerd. Do I play music? Do I play any instruments? Do I play in any bands? I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. Yes, I am a musician. I do play a bunch of instruments. I played in a bunch of bands. I don't really do any music currently. I'm kind of, just doing YouTube right now. Basically, from when I was in, like, middle school up until literally maybe a year or two ago, I was a band guy. I was always in bands, always, you know, I play drums, I play guitar, I play bass, I've learned to sing a little bit in recent years, and, I was always in a band. That was my dream, you know, to be in a band and, like, make it, and, you know, tour and go on the road and whatnot. That was kind of what I was trying to achieve for a long time. I might make a video in the future about the old bands that I was in. Yeah, I don't know. I was in this... None of it is on Spotify. I'll just tell you what bands I was in. I might go into this more in the future, but my first band, or my first, like, real feeling band. It was a high school band, but we played a lot of shows, and we made 2 EPs. Was a band called The Daydream Impression. I think there's a Bandcamp. I think it's like thedaydreamimpression.bandcamp.com, and there's like 2 EPs and maybe some other shit on there. We were like a neon pop punk band, like we were trying to be All Time Low or The Academy Is or Fall Out Boy, Taking Back Sun. You know what I mean? That was kind of the gist of it. That band, I think we were pretty good, honestly. We played a lot of shows. We were all 16, 15. I started out as the guitar player, so on our first EP, I played lead guitar, and then our drummer left. We couldn't find another drummer. I played drums. I basically played the songs on drums like better than anybody that we were like auditioning. So for our second EP, I switched to drums. So on our second EP, I played drums. And looking back, I think our music was pretty good. It was like good for how old we were, you know. And then I was in a band called Shore Leave after that, which the Daydream Impression broke up, and then me and the guy who played guitar in the Daydream Impression started Shore Leave, and that was kind of like, that was when all that like emo revival shit was poppin'. We were like a twinkly, like mathy emo band or whatever. That lasted for about a year. I think that's on Bandcamp. I think shoreleavema.bandcamp.com. We made 1 EP. That was cool, I guess. it was all right. Shout out to Jules and Len, my homies. And then I was in this band called Daphne was the name. We were a band for a few years. We were like kind of a, I don't know, I guess like an kind of grungy alt rock, indie, a little bit of emo in there kind of thing. That band was cool. That was probably the coolest band I was ever in. We were like sort of played around a lot locally in Boston, which is where I live. I live in Boston, in like sort of the DIY scene. I don't know where you can find that. I think, well, we had a Bandcamp. It's spelled weird, the name. It's like D. It's actually a really dumb name because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't pronounce, like, it doesn't, it doesn't pronounce the way that it should. It's D and then the A-E thing, like they're connected, P-H-N-E, which technically pronounces as Daphne, but that's not the name. It's Daphne, but I think we just wanted to look cool. And yeah, that band we made an album. There's also an EP. I think there's a couple EPs. We did some touring. We played a lot of shows around Boston. A lot of shows. And I think that band was really good. I would check out the album Full Circle. It's very different from a band that you would probably expect a person like me to be in. But it was cool. And then I was in a band called Honeymooner, but that doesn't really matter. And then I was in a band called the Baja Blasters, and that was cool. And then I had a solo project, which I did a couple years ago, called Drama Club Romance, which there's an album out. There's actually some videos on this channel of that, which you can check out. And then, yeah, I kind of, like I said, I kind of just sort of, like, lost interest in music a little bit. I guess, like, I had done it for so long that I was burnt out, you know? I had been in so many bands that, like, I had started, or I had been there since towards the beginning, and we worked and worked and worked and played so many shows and you know, recorded and poured all this blood, sweat, and tears into it, only for, like, members to leave and things to not work out, and then every band ended up breaking up at some point. And I guess at a certain point, I was like, fuck, I did so many projects, it felt like, and I was just, you know, I'd been doing it for basically, like, 10 years, and, you know, I wasn't in any bands, and I was like, I could either keep going and try to start something new, or I could stop. And I think that was around the time when I started taking this YouTube channel a little bit more seriously. So I've kind of just been focusing 100% on my YouTube channel ever since. But yeah, so yes, I do play music, or I guess I did, but I do play instruments, and I do have band affiliation. Wow, I have only answered 3 questions. I'm so sorry. This is going so long. I'm so sorry. Maybe this should be a part 1 and a part 2. I'm gonna try to go a little faster because those were like the deep ones that I wanted to really expound on. But let me. Okay. Do I listen to newer artists? Not really, honestly. I know that, like, I probably should. I check out a lot of new music, but there's not a lot of it that really, like, grabs me or resonates with me. A lot of times I hear things and I'm like, I recognize that this is, like, good, but it's, or good to, like, it's good for what it is, but it doesn't really, like, I don't know, there hasn't been a lot of new bands that, like, really have, like, captured my attention too much in the last, like, 5 years or so, or even, like, I don't know. I think there are people doing cool things, but, like, for example, I'm not super into the whole, like, 100 gecs kind of thing. I'm not super into, like, I don't even know, like, I like Lil Aaron. I think his music is good. That's probably, like, you know, but I really only I like Glowing Pains, and I don't really listen to anything else by him, and that was kind of a little while ago now, so I don't really listen to a lot of newer artists, no. I don't know why. It's not that I don't want to, just that nothing has really grabbed my attention for whatever reason. A lot of people ask, like, what are my top bands, or, like, favorite albums? I will tell you that my favorite, if I had to pick, you know, sort of, I have, like, a top 4, but it's in, like, no particular order of, like, favorite bands. Fall Out Boy, well, it's in some particular order. Fall Out Boy are my number 1 favorite band of all time. It's, like, Fall Out Boy, Dance Gavin Dance, The Maine, and the band Copeland. Those are, like, my 4 favorite bands of all time. Fall Out Boy's number 1, but the rest are in no particular order. And then favorite albums, it's pretty much, like, From Under the Cork Tree by Fall Out Boy. You Are My Sunshine by Copeland is my number 1 favorite album of all time, probably. From Under the Cork Tree is my favorite as far as, like, I think that album, like, affected my life the most, in terms of that was the first scene album that I ever listened to, and I listened to it when it came out in 2005. I was literally, like, 8 years old. That was another question I got, like, what's your, like, gateway into the scene? It was From Under the Cork Tree by Fall Out Boy. I saw it on MTV. I saw the music video for Sugar We're Going Down on the, like, Saturday, like, like, MTV video countdown or whatever, and I was like, I need that. I looked at them, I was like, I have never heard music like this, like, they look so cool, like, something about it just grabbed me, and I bought the CD, you know, and I was pretty much obsessed from then on, and then I, you know, got into all the bands that were on Fueled by Ramen, and that, you know, I pretty much went from there. So From Under the Cork Tree, one of my favorite albums. You Are My Sunshine by Copeland means a lot to me now. That's kind of like me as an adult, my favorite album. The self-titled As Tall as Lions album is one of my favorite. I have a lot of favorite albums. I don't know. There's a lot of albums that I love, but yeah, I guess I would go, From Under the Cork Tree and You Are My Sunshine are very far up there. Do I go to college? No. Never stepped foot in a college. Never been. I don't plan on going because I think it's a waste of money, and I'm sorry if you go. I think if it's you know, I think if you really want to study the thing, and if college, like, makes the most sense in your life, then it makes the most sense, but I don't think it's necessary for, like, everybody, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life being, like, $80 million in debt. There's nothing I want to study that much that I don't feel like I can't just, like, look up on the internet. So, no, I'm not in college. How old was I when I got into the scene? I guess I was, like, 8 or 9, whenever. I know that's young, but I was. That's when I discovered, like, Fall Out Boy and, like, the Academias and Panic at the Disco and shit. You guys, my fucking girlfriend just brought me some Star Market chocolate chip muffins to my door. I just went down and retrieved them. Isn't that so sweet? Isn't she sweet? Her name's JoJo. She's awesome. I want to put her on video one day. Maybe I'll have her on COZYTALK in the future. Anyways, yeah, sorry that this is running so long. I'm literally just rambling like a motherfucker. Maybe I'll make this like a part 1 and part 2 COZYTALK video, but whatever. I'm just riffing. I'm just, you know, I'm answering the questions. Some questions take me a little while to answer. I go off on tangents. That's what, like I said, I think I even literally said this earlier, but that's why I like script my normal videos, because I talk a lot. Okay. First band I ever saw live, Fall Out Boy. Summer of 2007, Honda Civic Tour. It was Fall Out Boy headlining. They had just put out Infinity on High, and opening was Plus 44, The Academy Is, and Cobra Starship. And it was awesome. Probably still to this day, like, the best show I've ever been to. Oh yeah, Paul Wall played too, but, I mean, you know. I like Paul Wall now. I don't think at the time I appreciated Paul Wall, nor did, like, anybody at that show. First album I bought from Under the Cork Tree. Okay, I got a lot of questions about Warp Tour. Favorite year that I went to Warp Tour. First Warp Tour experience. Favorite Warp Tour memory. So I attended Warp Tour so many years in a row. The first one I went to was the summer of 2008, and I went every single year until the summer of 2015 was the last year I went. So do the math. How many years is that? 7, 8, something like that. 8, 7. Favorite year? That's tough. They were all pretty badass up until, like, I think the last year that I had, like, a really good time was 2013, probably, because I think after that it kind of fell off a little bit. Like, that's why I stopped going, was because it was, like, 2014 and 2015, like, you could feel it was just kind of, like, less exciting, you know, because, I mean, the scene was dying, let's be real. Like, it wasn't this big, important cultural thing like it was in 08, 09, 2010. It was like, you know, the Academy Is were like on MTV, you know what I mean? Like, that was literally, like, these bands were like, it was you know, it was more like part of the mainstream cultural zeitgeist, if you will. So 2008 was a dope year, just because it was the first year I went. It was so, like, I saw fucking Say Anything, I saw The Academy Is. Katy Perry played that year, and I remember Katy Perry played at the same time as The Academy Is, and I think that's so funny. And I went to go see The Academy Is instead, which, looking back, I kind of wish that I had gone to see Katy Perry, because I did see The Academy Is a bunch of other times live, and I've never seen Katy Perry, and that would have been cool to have seen her at Warped Tour, but yeah, 2008 was dope just because it was the first year. I saw Cobra Starship, Gym Class Heroes. Like, I was wicked into the Fueled by Ramen bands at the time, and I saw all those bands. 2011 was really fun because, I mean, at that point, like, the metalcore thing was kind of dominating Warped Tour, and it was like Attack of Mice and Men, which I was kind of less into. I got into it. I did get into that kind of stuff, but I was like, it wasn't really, like, my thing. I was still very much into the neon stuff and into the sort of Never Shout Never-y stuff, but, you know, I thought it was, like, funny and interesting, and, you know, but 2011 was a good year because that was kind of, I went with, like, a really big group of friends that year, and that was the first year. I didn't really have, like, friends before that. Like, I knew people, but that was the first, I was, like, a freshman in high school, and, like, before that I would go with my dad, which is funny. He would take me, and he liked it. He liked Warped Tour. But 2011 I started, my dad would be there too, but I would be with, like, I had this, like, scene kid posse that I was friends with, and we would all go and, you know, just teenage, like, fucking around, and, what's the word I'm looking for? Just, we were rabble-rousers, you know, so that was really fun. 2013 was also a great year. I saw Chiodos that year, and the Chiodos set that I saw at Warped Tour 2013 is, like, one of my favorite live sets that I've ever seen by any band ever, so that was great. I was, like, right up front, and I was really into Chiodos at the time, and they just ripped it. They fucking killed. Craig Owens, like, walked on the crowd, and I was, like, right next to it during the breakdown, and There's No Penguins in Alaska. But yeah, Warped Tour, there was so many. I don't have really a lot of specific memories of it, because I went to so many years of it, and it's all kind of a blur at this point, honestly, but it was really fun. And favorite years probably 08, 2011, and 2013 for, like, personal reasons, because of, like, I had a really good time with my friends those years. 2012 I did not have a very good time, because I smoked a lot of marijuana, and quickly realized that smoking marijuana at like an outdoor summer all-day music festival is not the kind of thing that a person like me is equipped to do or enjoy. Some people can do that, and it's nice and it's awesome, but I got way too high, and I didn't like freak out, but it was just like, I was like, I do not want to be this high at Warped Tour right now. Like, there are, like, you know what I mean? There's, like, it's, like, hot. There's fucking people everywhere. Like, I just, like, couldn't, I just kind of shut down, and I, like, couldn't talk. And I was just like, I don't want to, I love Warped Tour, but I don't want to be here right now. Which, okay, I'll actually segue into someone else asked, because I had talked about smoking weed in high school in my, I think, one of the Johnny Craig videos. And someone asked if I still smoke weed, or if I do any psychedelics. So, no, I do not smoke weed anymore. I used to smoke a lot of weed for many, many years. I used to love weed. I was like a, you know, I was high every day for many years of my life, and loved it. And I think weed is great if that's your thing. I don't think there's any, you know, if that's like what you like to do, I don't think there's any negative consequences to it. But I don't know, the older that I got, the more it started, like, I started just getting really freaked out every time I smoked weed. Like, I literally got to a point, I think the last kind of heavy weed era of my life was, I think, like, the early half of 2019, so right around the time that I started this channel, actually. And I got to this point where almost every time I smoked, I would just have, like, a really bad, like, panic attack and basically need to, like, lay in the fetal position in my bed for, like, an hour or two until it was over. And I think once that started happening, like, all the time, I was like, this isn't working for me anymore. Like, I just don't enjoy this. So I haven't really smoked weed since then. And I don't really miss it, honestly. I don't really plan to. I'm pretty much just, like, sober these days. I don't drink. I used to drink a lot too. I don't drink anymore. Yeah, I don't really do any substances. I have done psychedelics before. I haven't done them in a really long time. It's been a few years. When I was like 18, 19, I'm 23 now. And when I was 18 and 19, I got into doing mushrooms for a bit. I wasn't, you know, I only did them, like, a handful of times. I wasn't, like, going crazy by any means, but I liked mushrooms a lot, and I had good experiences on them. Except there was one time where I did, like, way too many, and it was, like, 8 hours of just insanity. Like, the first 4 hours were really nice, albeit it was really intense. But I wasn't freaking out. I was, like, it was, like, so much, but it was, like, really nice. And then the last 4 hours of it were, like, the worst 4 hours that I've, like, ever had in my entire life, like, you know? So I would like to do mushrooms again at some point, but not, like, a crazy amount. Like, I'd like to do, like, a little bit, you know? But yeah, as of right now, I don't smoke weed or drink or do any of that stuff. Let's see. Okay, how did I feel about Johnny Craig's Instagram story about me? A lot of people ask me this. It was funny and, like, it was cool. He, for those of you who don't know, he called me an herb on his Instagram story. I think he posted something along the lines of, like, LOL, some kid is, making YouTube videos, like, YouTubing my Wikipedia page, like, LOL, fucking herb. You know, which a lot of people were warning me that was gonna happen. I didn't really think it was, because I was like, I'm not, like, talking shit on these videos. I'm just, like, or not intentionally. I'm just going over, like, his actual life that's, like, actually been well documented. I'm not making anything up or saying anything that isn't true. I'm just, like, telling the story and saying how I feel about it. I don't really know. But obviously Johnny is, like, can't handle shit like that. So, you know, I was not surprised that he was, like, passive-aggressive or whatever. It was funny, man. I was honored. It was cool. I don't know. It was really cool. I thought it was cool and funny. A strange question that I got on Instagram, I don't even really know what this means, but someone asked, do I feel bad about my Johnny Craig videos? I don't even know what that's implying, but no. Like, a big no. I don't feel bad about there's no videos on my channel that I feel bad about. I literally, like I said, I went over everything that is true about Johnny Craig that has been reported to the public, you know, throughout the years, and I said my honest thoughts about how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Some people obviously had problems with what I had to say, but you know, I was just being straight up honest about how I felt. I'm not saying that, you know, one important thing is, like, I'm not saying that my opinions on things are like how other people should feel about things, or you know, how I feel about Johnny Craig is not like the law of the land. I'm not trying to tell you how to feel about him. I'm just like, you know, giving my honest opinions about him as a person, you know what I mean? So no, I don't feel bad about anything. I kept it real and I kept it honest, and yeah. So no, I don't feel bad about any of my Johnny Craig videos, and I don't know what you're implying. Who would win in a fight, Tillian or Johnny? Tillian, duh! Are you kidding me? Come on, look at that guy. He's jacked. I don't think Johnny Craig has, like, lifted a weight in his life. Tillian's... Come on. Give me a hard... Tillian or Johnny? Come on. Tillian would smoke him. Top 3 songs on From Under the Cork Tree. Oh, let me think. As I said earlier, that's my favorite album of all time. I think I've always said that my favorite song on that album is XO, which I still agree with. So XO. Maybe... Fuck. Like I said, it's literally, like, might be my favorite album of all time. XO... I want to say Our Lawyers, because that song's just like the perfect album opener ever. So iconic lyrically. And I'm gonna go with Gin Joints. That's a great song. Those are my top 3. Opinions on the new Machine Gun Kelly album. I actually haven't heard it yet. I like the singles though, but I will tell y'all how I feel about it when I listen. I think it's gonna be good. Like I said, I like the singles. Like, I was surprised. Like, that Bloody Valentine song, I'm like, this is sick. He's doing a good job. You know, earlier I was talking about how I don't really, you know, listen to much new music. Like, there hasn't really been any new music that's come out that's grabbed me, but I think the pop-punk stuff that I've heard from Machine Gun Kelly recently is honestly better than, like, anything that I've heard from, like, any actual pop-punk bands in recent years. So I'm expecting myself to enjoy it, based on the singles. Do I like Me Without You? Yes. I only know the first 2 albums, but big fan of those albums. Do I like Modern Blink? It's fine. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't really listen to it very much. It's fine. I don't really care about it, I guess. But I'm not, like, butthurt about it. It's alright. As someone from Boston, which I am, how sad was I when Transit broke up? Transit. I really loved Listen and Forgive. That album came out when I was 14, and I loved that album at the time. I actually still really love that album. R.I.P. Tim Landers, man. But, you know, I wasn't really as into the stuff that they put out after Listen and Forgive. I thought that record was great. It was really cool to see a band, like, from around my area, like, blow up like that. Like, you know, get super huge at the time on Rise Records and whatnot. But yeah, the record they made after that, Young New England, I wasn't really super into that one, and I think the next one they made after that was, like, a little bit better, but I still, like, I kind of just... my interest in them kind of faded after Listen and Forgive. So I guess I wasn't really too sad when they broke up. It was kind of like, oh, man, that's, you know, that's a bummer, but, you know, I only really liked Listen and Forgive, so it wasn't that much of a shock to to my system or whatever. Favorite Mayday Parade album? So, honestly, self-titled. And that might be a hot take. For years, it was A Lesson in Romantics, and I still think that there's so many special, you know, A Lesson in Romantics is like a scene classic. It's an extremely special album. Jason Lancaster brought amazing vibes to Mayday Parade and was, you know, a big staple in their early songwriting and whatnot. And A Lesson in Romantics has always just been a huge, like, just a classic scene, like, neon pop punk cornerstone record, you know? Like, the vibes on that album are amazing. I've definitely cried to a lot of those songs, you know, over the years, plenty of times, being the, you know, the emo man that I am. But... And for years, you know, I definitely said that A Lesson in Romantics was my favorite Mayday Parade album. And it was, and that's still a lot of people's favorite, which I understand. But recently, I think the self-titled is my favorite now. And kind of with time, I've realized that the self-titled is actually like, I don't know, I think the songs are I think musically they actually developed a lot more than, you know, they were a lot more developed than they were on A Lesson in Romantics, and they also, I don't know, that record was kind of the record where they, like, you know, because they had the major label one after A Lesson in Romantics, and that album was kind of people were kind of about that one. I mean, you know, it's got good songs on it, but, you know, at the time, people were like, fuck this shit, like, we want Jason back. Self-titled was their kind of statement of them being like, no, we can do this without Jason. We can, you know, and we're not get this stale major label band that we were in the last record, and I don't know, I think the self-titled, like, I think they really knocked it out of the park on this one, and I really do think it's their best album. There's just great songs on it. I think that Mayday Parade are the kind of band where it's unfortunate because A Lesson in Romantics is, like I said, such a big album in the scene, made a huge impact. Their newer stuff has always been overshadowed by the legendary status of that album. And you know, they've always been battling with the that album was so iconic that it overshadows, you know, pretty much any album they've made after that. People are always comparing their newer stuff to A Lesson in Romantics, and I think that they really have gotten, like, better as a band throughout the years, but people often don't really realize it or don't even think to check what their newer stuff sounds like. But yeah, I think at this point, yeah, Self-Titled is my favorite one. Great songs. A lot of people ask me, like, are there any bands that I, like, hate or any bands that I despise or, like, my least favorite scene bands? Okay. I'm gonna kind of tie this into another question that I got asked a lot. A lot of people ask me, and I'm probably gonna piss a lot of people off right now, maybe this is gonna be controversial, I don't know, but I'm, like I said, I need to live my truth. I need to say how I feel. This is Cozy Talk. This is real. This is raw. This is unhinged, unscripted. A lot of people ask me. A lot of people want me to make a video about Brand New and the rise and fall of Brand New. Like, a lot of people ask me for that. And I don't think I'm ever going to make a video about Brand New. Why is that, you ask? Well, going back to this original question, are there any scene bands that I just don't like? Brand New. I don't like them. I've never been a fan. And this isn't, like, even before Jesse Lacey got called out for being, like, a total creepazoid, which, that didn't help my opinion on Brand New. Like, you know what I mean? Even before that, for years, I've always thought that Brand New were, like, the most overrated band of, like, the whole emo scene for some reason. I was never able to get into them. I don't know why. I, like, understood why other people thought they were good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, they're emotional and, you know, they kind of have seemingly more depth than a lot of the other emo bands and whatnot. And, you know, there's some songs on Devil and God that I liked. There's, you know, I, like, understand why they were so popular and why so many people were so, like, ride or die for them, but I just never fucking liked them. I never got into them. I never got it. and I always thought they were just the most overrated band. I always thought they were super, like, pretentious, and, you know, Jesse Lacey, I was like, this guy thinks he's fucking Morrissey. He thinks he's the fucking bee's knees. You know what I mean? I never fucked with it. I never liked them. And obviously, you know, Jesse Lacey being called out for being a fucking creep, like I said, doesn't help my, you know, now more than ever, I'm not going to go back and get into Brand New, more than I, you know, yeah. So, to knock out 2 questions with 1 stone, no, I'm never going to do a Brand New video, because I never liked them. I don't have anything to say about them, besides I think that they're, like, overrated and pretentious and stupid, and now creepy, you know? And are there any scene bands that I don't like that, Brand New? I've never liked them. And, sorry, I guess, but that's just how I feel. I don't know. And I'm actually, like, so relieved and happy to say that on camera finally, because, like I said, so many people have asked me for a Rise and Fall of Brand New video, but I'm not gonna fucking do it. I don't like them. I don't want to talk about Brand New. I don't, like, give a shit about them. So that's there. You happy? And honestly, if you're mad, I think that, like, listening to and standing Brand New still after Jesse Lacey got called out for that shit is, like, kind of suspect. So, you know, kind of shady. I don't think, you know, I think he kind of sucks. So maybe you should evaluate, I don't know. I just, yeah, I don't know. Nope, sorry. I'm sorry. If you're offended, I'm sorry. But I gotta live my truth. Gotta say how I feel. Don't like Brand New. No Brand New video. I guess I'll tie that into, a lot of, okay, so, one thing I did want to touch on in this video, a lot of people ask me, like, you know, can you do a video about this band? Can you do a video about that band? Usually the answer is yes. I want to make videos about all the bands. There are a few bands, though, that people ask me about a lot that, like, I probably won't make videos about just because, okay, the 2 that I was thinking about, and these are for other Brand New, I just don't like them. So, the other 2 bands that I was thinking about, and these, it's not because I don't like the bands, it's more just because I never got into the bands, and I don't really know, these 2 bands I'm going to mention, I just don't know enough about them, or have ever found enough interest in them, you know, I don't know about their story, so I really couldn't be the guy to make videos about them, and those bands are Alisana, or Alisana, I think it's Alisana, which I've been saying Alisana for like 13 years. I didn't know it was Alisana until someone corrected me recently. And Pierce the Veil, unfortunately. Those 2 bands, I don't dislike either bands. In fact, the music that I have heard by Alisana and Pierce the Veil, I love. Like, I love the song Ambrosia by Alisana, but that's the only Alisana song I know. I know that, and I know the song that Sean Milk, or whatever his name is, did guest vocals on that Asking Alexandria song, Hey There, Mr. Brooks. Those are and that's not even an Alisana song, so I only know one Alisana song, and I know nothing about their career. So I couldn't make a video about them unless I got into them, which could happen, but I'm not going to get into them just to make a video about them, because that would just feel weird to me. Like, that would be, I don't know, I don't think that would, like, work, you know? Like, I didn't grow up with them, I don't have all these opinions about them. Like, all the bands that I talk about are bands that I've, like, been into for years, and, already have all these opinions about and whatever, and have already followed their career to some degree. So it's, you know, like, I just don't picture myself making a video about a band like Alisana that I just know nothing about. Another band like that, I get asked to make a Pierce the Veil video all the time. Like I said, I know the hits. Cara Fernelia, great song. Bulletproof Heart? Bulletproof Heart. I breathe you in with smoke. That song, you know what I'm talking about. That's a great song. King for a Day. You know, I know the hits. And I have, like, mad respect for Pierce the Veil, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't have anything against them. But like I said, I only know a handful of songs. I've never gotten super into them. I don't know their story very well, so I wouldn't be able to make a video about them. So yeah, to answer, basically, let me just like put this out right now. If you ever ask me, will you make a video about this band? The answer is always going to be yes, I want to, and I probably will at some point, unless it's brand new, because I don't like them, or Alisana, because I don't know anything about them, or Pierce the Veil, because I also don't really know anything about them. Anything else is like, there's nothing else that I really can think of, at least that I get asked about a lot. Like, I'm not saying I know, like, every single scene band ever except for those ones. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Those three I get asked about tons, and I probably will never make videos about them. So, there is my official statement. Run and tell that, as they say. Hey, fam! Thanks for checking out my video. I did get a lot more questions than I had just answered, but I figure an hour is a good amount of time. I don't want to overstay my welcome, but I will do more Q&A videos in the future where I will answer the other questions that I received, and yeah, I don't know when that will be, but, you know, not too far into the future, so. And there will be more Cozy Talks to come. I have a few ideas of things I'm going to do in the future, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think this is going to be a nice little series. Let me know in the comments what you thought, if this was cool, if this was not cool, and as always, I love you all so much. It's the Cozy Representative. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Have a lovely day.